Hey guys, today we're going to use Affinity Designer version 2 to draw some planets and stars. Alright, here I am. I got a brand new A4 artboard. I'm using Affinity Designer version 2.1 on desktop. That's macOS, but it should be quite similar on Windows or even on your iPad. Before we start, keep in mind I got the whole playlist about Affinity Designer, so you can subscribe. This way you will be able to watch it later after you finish this tutorial. Okay, so the first step will be to create a planet at the center. To do that, I will use Oval tool. Here it is, our Oval tool. Hold Shift. This way we will remain the 1:1 proportion, so we got the perfect circle, alright? That will be our main planet with some flashy color. As you can see, I got snapping on. This way I know exactly where is the center. You can check it over here, this little magnet icon at the top. Here's your snapping. You can turn different settings, and I like to snap to geometry. That's my favorite way. Okay, so that's on. Let's set up the color for this. Something very flashy. Keep in mind, we're dealing with vector graphics, so everything is so editable, we can adjust that later. So don't sweat about this too much right now. Let's make some boundaries, some kind of frame for this artwork, but kind of unusual one. So I will grab rectangle tool like this. Let's make it a dark, really dark blue. Alright, and now I'm going to play around with this by holding Command. If I hold Command, instead of simply moving this around, I create duplicates. Alright, so that's how we duplicate this to create some irregular creative frame for this artwork. Okay, that's interesting enough. I would like to unite all of those shapes. How can we do that? I can simply select the first shape on the list, then scroll all the way down, holding Shift, create the last shape on the list. I select all. We can also just drag the mouse around. This way we select the planet as well. So let's go hold Command or Control and deselect the planet. Now I will unite those shapes using Add command here. And we end up with just one shape. Using corner tool, I will try to round as many corners as I can, as much as I can. Let's bake this appearance, and that's our little creative frame for this project. Let's move it to the very back. Alright, you know what? We'll make one like floating element over here as well. So it's like disconnected. Let's do something like that. Okay, perfect. And that's will be like floating element here, like a disconnect from the mainframe. Cool. And that's my backdrop. I can actually unite this, even though those two shapes are not connected. I can unite them to be one shape. Alright, this is my backdrop kind of, so I will lock this layer. Let's even rename it. You can double click the layer to rename it. Backdrop. Lock with this little padlock here. And now we can finally start, huh? We got the backdrop, we got this huge planet in the center. Maybe a little bit too big, huh? And then we will need some additional planets. So again, same trick, holding Command on Mac or Control on Windows, we can drag this around to create additional planets. One here, one maybe somewhere around here, like popping up. And maybe over here. I will move it from the center a little bit down like that. Okay. Now I will draw some stars using a star tool. There's dedicated star tool over here. By default, we got this star with 5 arms, I want to reduce that to 4. And then I will also use the corner tool on it. Okay. Take a look, we got this funny style with rounded corners. Don't forget to bake the appearance if you are happy with your corners. This way you will not mess it up while scaling up and down. And again, few copies here and there, maybe some rotation. You can move it kind of behind the planet. Using Command and the bracket, I can move it with keyboard shortcut as well. Alright. And you know what? We can actually create this star outside, but with the dark color in it. Just like that. Alright, so we kind of locate our base elements, and of course, if you feel like it later, you can make one more copy here, one more copy there, move elements. That's the best part of our vectors. We can easily edit anything we want, anytime we want. Alright, let's rearrange some colors. So this planet will be blue, this one will be green, and this one maybe some violet vibe, like that. Okay. We got spheres. Right now, they are really flat. So let's start by adding some kind of gradient on them. That's a linear gradient. I need a radial. So something like that. But with a bit higher contrast, I would say. Alright, and now I will replicate this process for all planets. Okay, what next? We can also apply a gradient to our backdrop. So I will unlock the backdrop now. And we will actually fill it with some kind of gradient. Also radial from the center. This time I will flip it a little bit. So I want this to be bright, not in the center, but at the edge of the galaxy, huh? And I will also use this noise slider to give it a texture. That's nice. Okay, what next? Maybe we want some little details on our planets, like a texture or some ring around, like Saturn rings. So let's try with that. Let's try to make some ring. I'll make a ring on this one over here. So I'm using oval tool. Alright, so that's oval tool. And now I need to create some kind of like hole inside. And some of you might say, Mark, why are you using oval tool? You can also grab a donut tool. That's right, that's what we can do. If you grab a donut tool, you will get a ring itself, as you can see. But we cannot like control it as well as making the manual hole, but that's also a great idea to use. Okay, in my case, I'm going with this guy. And then I will just Command C, Command V, copy and paste. And this way I can have more control because I can scale it only like horizontally, for example. So a little bit more control than the donut tool. And now we cut a hole in this ring. Let's give some rotation to it. All right, now I will need to get rid of this inner part. We can select both shapes and use the shape builder tool. If you just use the minus mode on it, we will end up with having a hole here. So let's change to create a new shape from the selected area mode. And this way I can make a new shape here. And now I will select this new shape. It's here. Let me just change the color so we can see it. All right, you see this black shape? And now this guy, and we can use the subtract, and that's the one way of doing that. Let's grab this ring and apply some layer effects. So FX over here, I want inner and outer glow on this guy. So let's start with, outer glow over here, and then we can play with the slider, huh? Let's make it glowing like that, but maybe a bit yellow. Yellow color glowing. How about inner glow? In this case, we're putting the glow inside the shape. It's a bit too strong. So I change blend mode to overlay and reduce to 50% of opacity on this effect. Alright, that's nice. We got this nice glowing ring around this planet. What else can I do about it? I can create some texture. So let's just grab a proper ellipse tool and we will draw some ovals. I will make them yellow for now. Actually, sometimes I like to take stuff like this outside the artboard. So I can click artboard tool and insert artboard. First time you click this, you are not inserting a new artboard just yet. You're simply unlocking the existing one. Alright, my backdrop around the artboard changed color. Now I can move objects outside. Why? Because as you can see, I already populated my artboard with different objects. So if I can take it outside the artboard one, I can work on some elements, and later on when they are ready, I can put them in my artboard. That's what I'm doing right now. Just duplicating this oval. This will be my vector texture for this planet. Okay, something like this will do. I need a proper color, maybe a bit darker blue. And now put it here. And you may say it looks strange. Let's use the wrap on it. So vector wrap is also a new addition in version 2. We can use fish eye and make it warp around like this. So this is warp tool in the layer section, and we're warping this up with the fish eye. That's nice. As you can see, my dots, my texture is popping up outside this planet. We can fix it by dragging and dropping this on the planet itself. This way the planet will be a parent layer and this is a child layer now. So it will never be outside the parent layer. So we can see it only when it's intersecting with this layer. And of course we can play with blending mode. Like that, we can play with opacity to create some kind of texture. And one planet finished, I would say. How about make the planet glow itself, huh? Planet's reflecting light, so let's make it glow. As you can see, the slider is ending on 100, but I can override this from hand. 200, but overlay. Perfect. All right. You know what? I want this glow on all planets, and I don't want to set this up manually. I can even put this glow on stars. That's a good idea. So I will now copy like I would copy the whole planet. So Command C. I'm going to select other elements. I want to paste this style on. And I will go to Edit and I will paste Effect. Edit menu at the top, paste FX. And I got this glow all around now. I don't need to set it up again for each element. So that's handy. Alright. Let's make a main texture for this big guy in the center. Again, I will go outside my artboard and I try to make some random texture for this guy. You probably already know what I'm doing here. Now just round this guy up. Pick the color from this planet. I want to add a warp on it. And next I'm going to reposition this guy somehow above this planet. Bit of rotation. And now we are ready to drag and drop this group on the planet itself. Nice. Let's play with some blending modes. Soft light will do in that case. Okay, we got texture on 2 planets already. 2 more to go. And again, I'm doing this outside the artboard first. This will be quite similar, but more randomized. Then I select this stuff, unite, pick the color from the planet. We'll use the round corner tools, bake the appearance. You know the next step, warping. So warp, I'm using like around 50%, but I try to look at it. I don't want to like be fixed with numbers. If 52 is better, use 52. Trust your eyes. All right. And now we can just make this a bit brighter. Position on the planet first, because if you drop it first on the parent layer, you cannot see it when it's outside the artboard. So we don't want to do that. Let's position first and then drop it on the planet. Here it is. That's a nice one. Look like some continents going on. But I think I will need some rotation here as well. And also a blending mode. If you go slow like on the list like that, you will just see previews. So you don't need to be a pro about blending modes. You can see from the preview. And you like this one, overlay, then you stop, and then you play with the slider. From 0 to 100, all right, 85 will do. And I like this planet now. But it's kind of similar to the color of the space. So I will need to recolor that. You see, we make decision first, and now when we see the picture, we feel like we need to recolor this guy, and that's fine. That's what we can do with the vector graphics. That's a huge advantage here. So let's go with something orange maybe, huh? Change this to orange first, and then I will of course turn it into actual gradient like that. And our texture need to be recolor as well. And that's a way better effect in my opinion. Alright, what next? There's one more planet waiting for us. Let's make this planet a bit bigger, huh? Let's make it a bit bigger, like that. And now I will create a texture for this guy, using some ovals this time. I know that humans cannot be random, but try your best to be random. This way we'll create some organic thing. Random pattern. Alright, select all and unite together. Give it a nice color related to the planet. Okay, how about this one? I think this one will be way darker. Oh yeah, that's better. Now we need to also warp it up with fish eye warp. Slightly above 50% will do. Alright, you know what? I want to change this layer right now, but it's already warped up. Can I do that? Yes, just open the work group and you will see original shape inside, and you can still make some changes on it. Okay. Alright, I make it a little bit more organic by turning those nodes into curvy nodes. Okay, that was a quick little trick and it just did the job fine. Now let's drag and drop this on the green planet. And here it is, a bit too strong maybe. Let's use maybe some multiply this time and reduce this opacity like that. Perfect. Okay, I think we end up with a pretty nice picture. Let's just recolor those dark stars. Now they're a bit too dark. Okay, I'm going to select all like that, so I can reposition this on A4 page. This way I'm sure everything is exactly in the center. Okay, and this is our little artwork for today. Today we learn how to put shapes inside other shapes. We call this a child layer. This way the texture from the planets are not popping out from the original oval tool, from the circle, alright? We also use a little bit of rounding corner tools and a little bit of random shapes together to create some abstract frame for this artwork. So the frame doesn't need to be a perfect square or rectangle or oval all the time. We can go crazy sometimes. Alright, so we got this nice little artwork. If you follow this tutorial with me and you plan to post it somewhere on Instagram or Facebook, you can tag me so I can check it out, alright? I hope this was useful. Keep in mind there's a whole playlist waiting for you, over 100 tutorials from Affinity Designer, so you can check some older videos, alright? Some of them are older but really useful. Thank you for today and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye!